When people begin a new habit, it feels like a task. You must remember it. You must decide to do it. Sometimes you must push yourself to begin. Every step feels deliberate. But if repetition continues long enough, something changes. The behavior stops feeling like a task. It becomes part of the day. Let's look at Kavita. Kavita works as a receptionist in a private hospital in Nagpur. Her work required sitting for long hours. So she decided to take a short walk every evening after returning home. At first, the walk required effort. She had to remind herself. Sometimes she postponed. Some days she skipped, because the action still felt optional. Something she should do, but not something that belonged naturally in the day. After several weeks, the pattern began changing. When Kavita reached home, she automatically placed her bag on the chair, changed into comfortable clothes, and stepped outside for a few minutes. She did not always think about it. The behavior simply followed the sequence of her evening routine. That shift is important, because behavior becomes stable when it stops requiring decision. Early stages of a habit demand attention. Later stages rely on pattern memory. The brain learns the order of actions, just like brushing teeth before sleep, or locking the door before leaving home. You rarely debate those actions. They simply happen. Kavita's walk slowly reached the same stage. The evening environment triggered the behavior automatically, not because she became more disciplined, but because repetition had trained the pattern. Many people stop too early before reaching this stage. They expect the habit to feel natural immediately. But natural behavior forms only after enough repetition. During the early phase, the brain still treats the action as optional. Later, it becomes the expected sequence. That is why protecting repetition in the beginning is important. Once the behavior becomes normal, it requires far less effort to continue. This shift also changes how you perceive the habit. At first, it feels like an extra task. Later, it feels strange if you skip it, because the day feels incomplete. Kavita noticed this change clearly. On evenings when rain prevented her walk, she felt slightly restless. Not guilty, just aware that something usual was missing. That is the moment a habit has stabilized. When the action stops feeling like effort and starts feeling like routine. This week, observe one behavior you are trying to repeat. Ask yourself one question. Does it still feel like a task? Or has it started feeling ordinary? If it still feels like a task, focus only on repetition, not improvement. If it already feels normal, you have crossed the hardest stage. From that point, the behavior continues with much less resistance. Consistency grows when behavior becomes ordinary, not impressive. Next, we examine how daily routines slowly influence larger life direction over time, and why many long-term outcomes are simply the result of repeated ordinary days. The future rarely arrives dramatically. It usually grows quietly from everyday patterns.